everyone comfortable? Yes? Alright then. Well, please welcome. This is a very, very nice moment for us to launch the Peace Portal. So for a word of welcome, I would like to invite Mr. Voorhoeven, who is the co-chair of the GPAC Foundation Board, to say a few words.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome in particular the aldermen of the city of The Hague. The city of The Hague has made a big effort to support this project, and today is a very happy moment because it is coming to fruition. I'm very happy that we can do this in the Museum for Communication, because peace politics is, first of all, good communication. And the work that has been done in the last 3.5 years to build this peace portal is a major step forward in the work of the Confederation of Peace Movements from all over the world that together formed the Global Partnership for the Prevention of Violent Conflict. Those who devoted many years of work to this peace portal are, first of all, Vicky Carreras, who will speak later on. Secondly, Denise Duzenly, Giovanni Putin, and Gabriela Vogelaar, who made the announcement just now. And we are very grateful to those staff members who designed this very innovative peace portal. I'm speaking on behalf also of Emmanuel Bombande, the chairman of the board of the GPAC Foundation, which is the foundation serving this global confederation of peace movements from all over the world, all corners. It is growing rapidly. I'm very happy to also welcome this afternoon the person who was at the foundation of this international peace movement NGO, Paul van Tongeren, who designed the first architecture of this worldwide meeting, organized meetings with the United Nations on the subject, set up the European Center for Conflict Prevention, which was the forefather of the present GPAC Foundation. Things are moving rapidly in the right direction in the field of building structures for peace, and we live in an age in which non-governmental organizations and intergovernmental networks of such NGOs translate the rapidly changing agenda of world politics often much faster into action than formal intergovernmental organizations, which are treaty-based and therefore, unfortunately, slow-moving. We can move fast, and this peace portal is an example of it. Welcome to you all. I'm sure you are going to have an interesting hour of presentations. The next person addressing you on this peace portal is the director of the GPAC Foundation, Peter van Tuyl. Peter, you have the floor.
Thank you, Joris. Thank you, Mrs. de Jong, for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to be here this afternoon. I will tell you a little bit more about GPAC and our relationship with this portal. GPAC, the Global Partnership for the Prevention of Armed Conflict, is, as you may know, a membership-led network of civil society organizations across the world. And all of our members work in the field of conflict prevention and peace building. GPAC's mission is to work towards a shift from reaction to prevention. Preventing armed conflicts is a complicated task, and we believe that a shift from reaction to prevention is only possible when different actors on a national, regional and global level collaborate together. As a network, GPAC has a global reach. We have a special relationship with the United Nations, but also with regional agencies, such as the Organization of American States or the ASEAN, coupled with the presence on the ground through our membership in 15 regional networks. The GPEC Foundation, based here in The Hague at the LAUNCH.m4v, has the pleasure of being the global secretariat of GPEC. We are the global hub. We are in almost daily contact with our regional hubs in places like Nairobi, Davao, Beirut, or Bishkek. We try to give a voice to people often living in difficult circumstances in conflict-prone areas in different parts of the world, and connect them to people willing to help to prevent violence while living in more fortunate circumstances like us here in the Netherlands. The idea of a network is that we leverage what our individual member organizations are doing. Our collaboration makes us stronger in creating the space for people on the ground to let themselves be heard, in opening the doors of governments and international organizations. Collaborating improves opportunities to build knowledge by comparing and learning from different situations across the world, and it builds trust and motivation to carry on with the difficult task of conflict prevention. In human relationships, three sources of power dominate: money, guns, and information. We have little money, and we want to prevent the use of guns, so that leaves us only information to work with. Everything we do in our network evolves around information. It is the core of our whole business model. And it is essential for us to connect us to the great opportunities that are created by the quickly unfolding technologies on the internet. The Peace Portal is thus aimed to provide us a much better infrastructure for our network to manage information as a source of knowledge, but also of inspiration, empowerment, and action. In a network, the collective effort is what counts. A network by nature is aimed at collaboration. We are bound to collaborate also because the problems that we try to deal with are very complex. Just try, for example, to figure out what has happened in Libya over the past 12 months. It needs analytical work across a host of different academic disciplines. It needs compounding information from a great variety of resources, and it always needs to check with local actors and stakeholders on the ground, because in each context it is the exception that rules. And did you know that even this week there are still people fighting for Gaddafi in Libya? And if you know, do you understand why? Very difficult questions that we deal with every day. The Peace Portal is going to be our home, and hopefully of many others like-minded people like you, networks and organizations, to tackle many of the difficult questions that we face in pursuing our mission. And by sharing information, we will build new bridges to build peace. Civil society in that way can fulfill an important role in the production of public goods, locally and globally. The days are numbered that such functions can be fulfilled on the basis of grants or government subsidies only. The Peace Portal also opens the door for the GPEC Foundation to gradually transform towards a more collaborative business model, whereby we strengthen our sustainability by sharing the portal as a platform with various key partners, which has a number of mutual gains. Like politics, all peace is local. And while being the global hub of a network, we are also keen to be part of our local environment here in The Hague. We want to be rooted, and we are rooted here. The Hague is not only a beautiful city behind the dunes, een mooie stad achter de duinen. It is increasingly a place where different people and organizations collaborate to work on issues of peace and justice. It has been another main driving force behind our efforts to take up the challenge of building this new tool. The synergies and partnerships that I was talking about will to a large extent have a local rooting and increase our strength in making a meaningful contribution to the prevention of violence globally. I'm very grateful, and I would like to thank our supporters, the City of The Hague and the Netherlands Ministry of Economic Affairs, for their assistance in enabling us to build the Peace Portal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Peter. And many of you have heard or have even used the Peace Portal already, but also a lot of you haven't. So in order to explain a little bit more about what the portal is and what it seeks to achieve, Ms. Victoria Carreras, the Peace Portal Manager, will say a little bit more about this. Please.
Good afternoon. It's very nice to see that so many people have come. After more than 2 years of hard work, it's a pleasure to officially launch the Peace Portal today with all of you. The portal is already in use since a few months, and I'm very happy to announce that we already have almost 1,000 registered users. You might be wondering, who are these users? Well, they are professionals, practitioners, volunteers, students, and NGOs working on conflict prevention and related fields from all over the world. They joined the Peace Portal because it's an open online platform for learning, sharing, collaborating, and acting together in the fields of conflict prevention and peace building. We aim to bring people together online and channel the work done online into active peace-building processes. Activities initiated online cannot only remain in the internet. We want to make use of the stories, the opinions, and the information shared on the portal to have an effect offline. We define our portal as an open and impartial online platform. Open because everybody can make use of it, and with no limitations to share and connect with others. And impartial because this is crucial in our field of work, as all voices are important if we want to advance dialogue which supports peaceful solutions to conflicts. We have developed the portal to respond to the challenges that a global network of civil society like ours face in our daily work. Even if open to everybody, the portal remains an essential tool for GPEC. As a network composed of hundreds of organizations spread all over the world, we must take the advantage of opportunities offered by new technologies to deal with the challenge of communicating and working together with colleagues from Argentina, Kyrgyzstan, Kenya, or even Fiji, just to name some examples. We live in an increasingly digital world in which we need to be present online if we want to be visible and if we want to have influence. How can we ensure a good and productive online presence for organizations working for peace building, justice, development, or conflict transformation? Well, the Peace Portal wants to respond to this challenge by providing affordable and flexible tools to facilitate and communicate about projects, campaigns, events, and all kinds of initiatives that promote and advance peace. During the last few months, we have already initiated several projects for the GPEC network, and we had to come up with concrete solutions to help our colleagues. I would like to highlight just a couple of examples. The first one is when our gender team, together with the European Peacebuilding Liaison Office, needed to organize a meeting to discuss the implementation of the United Nations Resolution 1325 on women, peace, and security. Instead of organizing a meeting, as we normally do, we organized an online dialogue. More than 30 people from 11 countries and 4 continents met online during the course of a full week to discuss, write opinions, exchange ideas, and share working papers. At the end of the week, a report was composed with all input and results, and it can now be used for advocacy purposes. This is an example of how working together online opens new possibilities. Such an exercise would have been more expensive and we would have only been able to invite a small group of people if we would have done it in the traditional way. To work together online is a main feature of the Peace Portal. We believe civil society can benefit a lot by efficiently increasing the reach of their activities. The second example is the International Conference Strengthening Global Peace and Security for Development that was organized by GPEC and the Organization of American States last November in Madrid. The whole conference was supported online through the Peace Portal. We created an informative website in which attendees could register and share documentation. We integrated social media and webcasted the event live, so that people that could not attend could still follow and participate. After the conference, a private working space, accessible only to a selected group of participants, was created to continue discussions and follow up. This is an example of how the portal can support the organization of events, small or big, for us, our partners, or other organizations that want to support their events online at a low price. The last example I want to mention is a project we are currently working on. It's a project about peace journalism in the South Caucasus. It promotes the development of media professionals dedicated to ethical and conflict-sensitive journalism in both Russian and English. How to bring these journalists online in a neutral and safe virtual space? How to make their articles and blogs available to everybody? The answer was 2 online working spaces, one in Russian and one in English, created and edited in close cooperation with ICCN, a Georgian NGO. This is an example of how the portal can support civil society locally. In regions affected by conflict, or in operational environments where civil society organizations are more limited. A main objective of the portal is to offer solutions to give online visibility, connect safely in sensitive environments, and provide connectivity, saving time and space. These 3 examples show how the portal helps to overcome very common challenges for organizations with limited resources. Yet, in all 3 examples, we could contribute to conflict prevention dialogue. There was the possibility to engage with multiple actors and also to produce something that directly supported civil society organizations' work in the field, be it advocacy, confidence building, or learning initiatives. These examples of our work of the past 4 months, and there are more like the book we are going to present later today, are just a snapshot of the type of activities that we hope to see on the portal. To summarize, the Peace Portal is a platform that reaps the benefits of Internet technology in support of the work going on in conflict prevention, peace building, and other related fields. We can help projects, campaigns, research, events, and all kinds of activities to be more visible, more inclusive, and possibly even more creative. The Peace Portal is about connecting, interacting, and inspiring people from all over the world working for the same causes and goals. We believe that with our portal we can help the diverse voices of civil society actors to be louder. And our goal is to contribute to this by promoting an efficient and rational use of technology and by sharing experience and knowledge. We hope that many of you here today will see the potential and maybe possibilities for you or your organizations to use the portal in the future. You can find more information in the package that you will get afterwards. And my colleagues and I will be more than happy to answer any questions during the drinks. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. I hope this overview has given you an idea of what the portal is and what possibilities it can offer. And the examples that Victoria has just named are far from exhaustive. So as she mentioned, you can later also have a look at the portal itself. We've set up a few laptops back there. So afterwards you can take a look and ask us questions. The portal has been financially supported by the City Council of The Hague. And without them and their vision and belief in the project, the portal would not be here today. So to say a few words about this vision and their support, would you please welcome the Deputy Mayor Marjolein de Jong, who's also The Hague's Alderman for Culture, the City Centre and International Affairs. Please welcome.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today and making us a beautiful group to celebrate the launch of the Peace Portal. And from me, a special word of thanks to those of you who worked very hard during the past 2 years to develop this portal. Thumbs up for all the expertise you have put into this project. And the experience brought in, of course, by Peter van Tel, Jeroen Tas and Henk Bos, combined with the energy, you just heard it, of young talents such as Vicky Carreras and others, has made this portal what it is today. In this era of digital communication, the development of this portal is what we believe a vital instrument for building worldwide communities that work on peace and conflict prevention. Also, it can be used by academic institutes and others working in the field of peace, justice and development cooperation. Your work has already been appreciated by a lot of persons, because I understand that the portal at this moment has far over 900 members and counted more than 130,000 page views, by 19,000 visitors during the last 6 months. That is a wonderful start. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm aware that the Global Partnership for the Prevention of Armed Conflict is very interested in building communities, in using social media for real-time conflict prevention. And since the Arab Spring, we all do realize the huge importance of this media. But the portal you have built can also be very useful for strengthening the cooperation between the various knowledge institutes here in The Hague and in the Netherlands. The Hague, the International City of Peace and Justice, encourages the development of stronger interrelationships between organizations working on peace-related issues. And in addition to the investment made in the development of the Peace Portal, we encourage this through providing joint office facilities at Laan van Meerdervoort number 17 and of course Zeestraat 100, and through organizing network meetings. Last November we had a great NGO meeting right here at this location. Ladies and gentlemen, with regards to the operation of the Peace Portal in the coming years, it's a real pleasure for me to hear that initial contracts with other organizations in the city are being prepared, which support your collaborative business model. Cooperation with organizations such as Court Aid and the Hague Institute for Global Justice look promising for the future of the portal. And I do hope that both the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and NGOs will use this portal so that it becomes the real platform for the exchange of ideas and expertise on issues relating to peace and conflict prevention. One closing remark. I am convinced that the operation of the portal will prove sustainable in the years to come, and I look forward to a further cooperation between the Global Partnership for the Prevention of Armed Conflict and the City of The Hague especially in the light of the upcoming celebrations of the Peace Palace Centennial next year. I wish you all a lot of success. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. de Jong, for your kind words and encouragement. And now that we've given you some background on what the Peace Portal is and the vision behind it, we will talk a little bit more about the importance of the media and its potential to contribute to peace-building processes. For this, we have invited an international guest speaker, Mr. Vladimir Bratic, who is Assistant Professor of Media and Communication at Hollands University in the United States. He specialized in the role of the media in conflict and peace, and its capacity to promote peaceful transformations of conflict. He is originally from Sarajevo, Bosnia-Herzegovina, where he conducted extensive research on the role of the media in the reconciliation of the Bosnian conflict. He will be joining us through the webcam from the United States to briefly speak about the history of media and peace building. So let's see if we have a connection with Vladimir. There we go.
I'm assuming that means you can hear me and see me. Hi, how are you? Good. I can't really see you, but as long as you can hear me and see me, I think that's all right. Excellent. Thank you very much. Let me begin this just to kind of introduce the setting here. I'm coming to you from Virginia today, and you are in the middle of my class that I teach this semester. This is a class called Social Media and Social Activism. And students in here are examining how media actually can help promote social activism of different kind. Right now, what they're working on is their final project. And it's in this project, they're promoting their own social cause that they've selected, solely by using the new and social media. So what they're using here, where they're typing in the Twitter, Facebook, blogging devices. And this is truly the future of social activism. But what I'm here to speak about is the past, is the history behind media and a particular kind of social activism, which is peace activism. And I have to do this in less than 5 minutes. So let's get going here. The history is not a particularly long history. We're talking about the 30 years, and it begins in about 1980s because of the two important developments that happened in the 80s. And that is that peace activists actually got much better organized, they got much better funded, and they got equipped to pursue their own social cause, reconciliation and transformation of conflict, and mainly due to the fact that they actually got organized by non-governmental organizations as a model. At that same time, the second thing that happens is that media actually gets a whole lot cheaper. It becomes smaller and portable. It becomes very easy to use and then actually easy to make. So when you put these two things together, what you get is very successful use, peace activists using media technologies for conflict reconciliation and peace building. And initially, this is a huge success. In the early 1990s, we have a very successful implementation of the first media attempts, and this deals with radio across the African continent. So what you see in Sierra Leone, in Rwanda and Burundi, in Liberia, you have radio shows, mainly entertainment shows, like soap operas, that amuse and educate, but mostly are used to help reconcile different communities. And this is a huge success in the early 90s. After this success in radio, in the late 1990s, television follows. Television follows in slightly bit different regions in the Middle East, in the former Yugoslavia, in Northern Ireland. And then not only entertainment type of a format, but we have news and information, and even actually marketing and advertising are used by peace activists to promote their peace causes and different social activism. So what becomes clear at this moment, and this is sort of the turn of the century, is that media are truly capable of promoting peace. The power of media is, at that time, established. And this power actually is going to get even more amplified when another medium comes of age, and that, of course, is the internet. In the beginning of the new century,
Yeah, he was almost done. Yeah, unfortunately, we seem to have lost Mr. Radic, which is a shame on his end. He's no longer online, so something must have happened with the connection. So unfortunately, he's not able to finish his story. But nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed it. So right, so it gives us kind of an idea of how we've come here and to the launch of the Peace Portal as an online medium for peace and what possibilities that new media have opened up for people working on peace building and related fields such as development, conflict prevention, and justice. We've also invited another international guest, Mr. Michael Schenk, who is the U.S. Vice President of the Institute of Economics and Peace, which is an international research institute dedicated to building a greater understanding of the key drivers and measures of peace and the economic benefits of peace. So he will say a few words about the internal and external purpose of the Peace Portal and how it is able to professionalize the work of the peace building community. Would you please welcome Mr. Schenk?
Thanks for having me. I half expect Vladimir to pop up kind of mid-presentation, so if he does, I'll turn the stage over to him, but if not. First of all, congrats to the GPAC team for producing not only the Peace Portal, but an incredible book. So major kudos to that. I appreciated your thumbs up. I smiled. I felt like that was very American, but you probably have thumbs up here, but it just felt like these American colloquialisms. Who is a member who has registered for the Peace Portal? Raise your hand, please. All right, so that leaves about half of you right there. After this presentation, please sign up, or if not there, because the line's going to be so long of people registering, please do when you go home. It's quite a simple URL, right? What's the URL? Right, that's not going to be hard to forget. Go home, register. You'll make Vicky happy, because that will take us over the 1,000 mark, right? Because I saw about 50 hands not raised. That will take us over 1,000. She's got 1,000 on the launch of the Peace Portal. Make her very happy. But congrats. So sign up. Why I'm here? To be honest, I was not here invited for this event solely. The past couple days here, I was training GPAC. They probably don't want me to say this, but I'm going to say it because it's going to hold everyone accountable to what I'm about to say. Is that I just trained the GPAC team in media. Not this kind of media because they've got it, but in writing articles for newspapers and for print, not only here, but in Brussels and in the US, in New York and DC. So I need you, the external community, to support them in that process. And if after a couple months you're not seeing the op-eds in the NRC or the broker or something local, be like, hey, call up Peter, be like, Peter, Michael Schenk said you were going to write op-eds for articles for this. No, seriously, it's a group effort. We need your support in that. So that's why I was here. And then this morning I was strolling around town. I love this town, or city, sorry, city. Apologies. I live in a town. I live in Washington, D.C. Went to your Humanity House. It was an incredibly moving experience. Went to MC Escher and went all about town. It was quite nice. So thanks for having me. So I'm going to talk about two things that I think this serves, and then I'm going to talk a little bit, very briefly, about this book, which I know you're going to talk about shortly, but I just want to give one quick anecdote. So two things that this thing serves, internally and externally. So I was at the gym. The GPAC team already heard this, so forgive the redundancy. I was at the gym, and I saw on TV the athletic facility. I know you probably don't call it gym here, but whatever, the athletic facility. I'm there. I see on TV a film, a trailer for a film called The Gray. And The Gray is about the gray wolf. And the gray wolf in the film, it's a theatrical thriller, and like the wolves are almost killing Liam Neeson. They're like eating him up, and he's struggling for his survival. Last capture of the film is him like strapping broken bottles to his hand, and he's going to go like kill the wolves so he can go home and see his wife. And so I get upset because in the U.S., Congress, and I used to work for Congress, just allowed kind of free-for-all shooting of wolves. So the wolf population is near extinct because farmers don't want the wolf eating their sheep or their cattle. So we're just killing wolves at random. So I'm a little upset. I tweet, boycott The Gray Movie, at The Gray Movie, and Liam Neeson, at Liam Neeson. And then I throw in a URL, a link to a petition to boycott the film. And then I tweet in the same tweet, a couple environmental reporters that I know, that are friends of mine, who write for the New York Times and for a couple other wire services. Next day, I'm here already, because this was like the gym right before I got on the plane. I'm here, I get an email from an environmental reporter for the New York Times. Hey, Michael, my colleague Alana said that you're on top of this, you're running this petition to boycott this film. I'd love to talk with you, can we talk? Well, not only am I here busy training GPAC team and media, which again, hold them accountable, but I'm also, this isn't my expertise, this is my work. I used to work in the environment, but it's no longer, I'm not running a boycott. I'm just thinking we should boycott the film. I'm not running the boycott. But I didn't know who to recommend. So I emailed a bunch of my friends at environmental orgs, Defenders of Wildlife, World Resources Institute, NRDC, a bunch of environmental organizations in DC saying, help, I've got a major environmental reporter wanting to do a story. Do you have the expertise? Do you have the report? Do you have someone to talk to the reporter? Fortunately, some friends at Defenders of Wildlife have a whole wolf unit, and they talked to the reporter, and we've got a story, and it was a major story, and now we've got publicity on the film, which is great. This is what the Peace Portal will do. For example, protest blows up in some country, and a reporter in DC who writes for Associated Press, Reuters, Bloomberg, New York Times, Washington Post, who might be a friend of mine because I used to do communications for a congressman for 3 years, so that's my network. They're like, hey, Schenk, that's my last name, originally from Switzerland, S-C-H-E-N-C-K, I just want to give props to the Swiss out there. They're like, hey, didn't you work in Mindanao in the Philippines? I was like, yes. Well, do you know anyone there? Because, Abu Sayyaf just attacked so-and-so, and we want to contact someone locally. And I'm like, well, actually, thanks to the Peace Portal, I've got some Filipino friends who are doing peace-building work. Actually, one of the GPAC network regional coordinators, I'm not sure what his official title, is that his title? Regional coordinator? Gus? Right, so he's in Mindanao. And hopefully he's on the Peace Portal, and I can connect him immediately to the reporter in DC. They can talk. We've got a story on peace-building efforts in Mindanao so that the story is not solely about the terrorists who are connected to Al-Qaeda, who are fighting the Filipino government, but instead we've got countering that, Gus doing some incredible peace-building work connected through the Peace Portal, one. Two, it adds a level, I think, and it will, a level of professionalization to the peace movement. As you can imagine in DC, I'm surrounded by political chatter. And I'm following all the reporters who are friends, who are also writing for all the major newspapers on politics. State of the Union this week with President Barack Obama, you bet that the tweets were just like all over the place. There was great chatter, about every single moment of the State of the Union. From when, like, Obama breathed, when he makes an emphatic point, there was like a tweet by people I care about, who are smart, who are writing politics. That does not exist yet for the peace-building movement, but I want it to exist. We need it to exist. We need to cultivate that chatter on par with the political chatter that I'm sure exists here. I'm just speaking from my own experience in Washington, D.C. This is the opportunity for that. Another addendum to that, I'm on the board of an organization called the National Peace Academy. In the US, as I'm sure here in EU, there are myriad military academies and war colleges, defense-oriented institutions. We don't have that for the peace-building community on par with what's existing in the military communities, the defense communities, the war communities. We're getting there slowly but surely, and GPAC is a great example of our move towards that bar. This gets us there. This helps get us there, brings us together and takes our game, our peace-building game, to the next level. All right, lastly this. So I was asked to be a jurist. There were 3 jurists. I was asked to be one of the jurists. And we were supposed to read the submissions from around the world and pick the top, what, 10? 25. We were supposed to pick top 25, which ended up in this group. As a kind of reward for being a jurist, can't even speak, as a reward for being a jurist, we were allowed to have like a chapter. And as you pick up this book, you'll see my chapter. So I thought about how to best use my chapter. I write a lot of articles, and I thought this would be an incredible opportunity not to feature my work, but to feature my mother's work. So my mother is a counselor, she's a psychologist. So I said to her, I said, Mom, as a result of being a jurist for this book, I get a chapter, and I think you should write the chapter. Write it about your life. Write it about your peace-building work. And she was like, oh, yeah, I don't really consider myself, yeah, I'm not a, I mean, these are her words. I wish I would have recorded the conversation so I could play it right now. I'm not a peacemaker, peace builder. She didn't consider herself remotely a peacemaker, peace builder, any of that. I was like, oh no, but you are. Like, you're building peace in individual lives every day of your life. She's like, no, I don't feel comfortable writing. She was going to try it. She tried it. Didn't work. She didn't have the confidence. So then I said, okay, if you don't want to write it, how about this? I send you some questions, and you respond to those questions. She's like, okay, let's try that. So I sent her the questions. She tried responding to the questions. Didn't work. We're getting closer and closer to the deadline. Gabriela is like, Michael, I need the chapter. I was like, I know, have patience. This is true, right? Yeah. It's like, have patience. I'm trying to get my mom to write this stuff down. She's like, okay, I understand, but we need a deadline here. Okay. So then I said, okay, Mom, how about I call you and I interview you? She's like, okay, we can try that. So I call her and I start, officially interviewing her, and she froze up. She didn't know what to say. That didn't even work. So then I was like, okay, how about we just have a conversation? She was like, okay, that's fine. So I call her up, and I have a recorder. She doesn't know it, but I have a recorder. So I just start chatting about whatever. I'm like, oh, we're chatting. And then I kind of slowly start inching into the questions. And then I tell her kind of halfway through that the recorder's going. She's like, oh, I can't believe you had the recorder going. And capture the essence of her life's work here. I transcribed the interview and then wrote down what the morsels, the lessons learned. I say all that because I feel like that is most of the world. One, they don't consider themselves peace builders. They don't consider their work peace building, and it's a real self-confidence issue. They don't see their work as meritorious of being labeled peace building. There's kind of an elite crew of peace builders. They're doing this incredible work, but the rest of us, what do we have to contribute? That's the importance of this peace portal, and this book, is that it emphasizes and values that every small thing everyone is doing in their daily lives ultimately contributes to peace, and hopefully it does. It also has the possibility of contributing to violence. That's GPAC's effort to move it towards peace. But I think I just want to give huge congratulations to the team at GPAC for producing this, because and I can't wait to take it back to my mom. She just had knee surgery. She's got a completely new knee, so she's totally bedridden. And I'm going to take it back to her and be like, look, this is you. You're a peace. She knows that I'm here. I just emailed her before I came here, and I said, Mom, I'm so proud of you, because she's done some incredible work. She's read the article before, but she hasn't seen the book. So I'm going to take her this book, and it's going to bring such a big smile to her face. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Michael. That was very inspiring, and also to show us that anyone can basically be a peace builder. We can move straight onto the book, as you said, indeed. I'll say a little bit more about that. Because today we not only launch the portal, we also want to present one of the outcomes of the Peace Portal's work, which is this book called People Building Peace 2.0. In order to make the Peace Portal known amongst the peace building community, we organized a writing contest in July and August of 2011, the Stories of Peace Challenge, gathering personal stories from all over the world about peace initiatives of people working on peace and conflict prevention. More than 80 entries were submitted, and almost 60 were approved to enter the contest, and they're also published on the Peace Portal. And finally, on September 21st, 2011, on the International Day of Peace, the jury selected 25 winners of the challenge. The prize was to be published in this book, People Building Peace 2.0. And this is the third in GPAC's People Building Peace series of publications, which are collections of case studies of civil society's peace-building initiatives. Now, thanks to the Peace Portal, it's time to update the title to version 2.0. We are happy that our challenge gave voices to many everyday life stories of peace that otherwise will not easily find a place in a publication. We decided to set up this challenge not only to mark the launch of the portal, but also to try to find an innovative way to bring together online participation with offline action. The story with the highest total score from the jury is not only published in the book, but will also receive the additional prize of customized web pages on the Peace Portal, worth 500 euros. The winning author is François L'Enfant, with his story Coffee for Peace in Congo, who is here with us today, and will be speaking about how coffee plantations and the private sector can support peace in Congo. I would like to ask Michael Schenk, as one of the jury members of the challenge, to come forward and please present the first copy of People Building Peace 2.0 to the winner of the best story, François L'Enfant. Please.
I just want to give a quick summary. I wrote this for the book, but I think it's important because he probably won't say it himself. So I'm gonna boast on behalf of him. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. Good. The writer, Francois, notes that the coffee-based peace-building concept sounds too simple to be true. The writer also notes that the ex-rebels were open to conversation, tired of fighting, and tired of the lack of opportunities. How true and resonant are these observations? It is quite simple in theory. At the root of much of our peace-building efforts is the need for sustainable economic development. Having a job helps tremendously with one's ability to meet their basic human needs, be it security, recognition, connectedness, meaning, or action. Part of peace-building is making it possible for people to get a job, get insured, get educated, and get ahead, all of which helps with getting respect. This is what this story gets at, the success of which is quite obvious. François L'Enfant, congratulations. Oh, I see.
Thank you very much for my speech. This was my speech, actually. I mean, okay, I'm going to try to get my own speech. First, I want to apologize for my suitlessness. I don't have a suit right now, and I want to apologize not to you, but to the people of Congo. Because for them, it's unbelievable that I would receive a prize for a story about people of Congo without having a suit. And for them, it's also unbelievable that I would only be allocated 10 minutes to talk about Congo. I would need hours, and I sat in meetings with Congolese officials. I had to sit for hours. And it was really thrilling. But I won't bore you. So, let's take my little speech. It is an honor and a great pleasure to be here. It means a lot to me, but it means a lot more to the communities of Eastern Congo who are the center of the story. I could talk for hours about why I wrote the story, which is actually, it is related to the PhD I'm pursuing at the University of Amsterdam on the interaction between business and peace processes and the role of partnerships in it. But that would take too much time and be probably too boring for you, so I want to concentrate on telling the stories about the people of Congo who made this story possible, and especially focus on the learning that I drew from my interaction with them. Lesson number 1. DRC is not only about war, destruction, despair, rape, and murder, as often portrayed in the media. It's also about hope, about people, citizens, taking their destiny in their own hands, with a little bit of help from external actors, like those involved in the partnerships I studied intensively for my PhD. In any event, the negativity surrounding Congo has to stop, and I'm really happy that the Peace Portal will contribute to stopping that negativity. Lesson number 2. I will never ever forget those rebels, most of them kids, who mentioned being tired about the war. And the translation from Swahili was in French, and they said fatigué. They said like many times, we are fatigué, we're really tired of the war. I'm like, you are 14, 15, 16. How can you be tired already? Your whole life lies ahead of us. They were tired. And I could read the exhaustion of having been part of the rebel group on their faces. And yet, they dared standing up in a room filled with more than 80 people when I asked them and I confronted them, who in this room is a rebel? So they had the guts of being honest, of telling us that they had done bad things at some point in their lives. They were rebels. Yeah, but so what? Now the good thing is that they're being part of, they're reinstated in the communities through coffee, through cultivating coffee. So they have the guts of being honest without fear of being ostracized. The story is that they were so tired of the war, so tired of fighting, that even if the rebel chief that would offer them more money than they would earn by cultivating coffee, they would still remain in their coffee communities. Why? Because it gave them a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, and a sense of direction. These kids were 14, 15, 16 maybe. They were kids, already fatigued, tired of being rebels. Which leads me to lesson number 3, the grassroots dimension. Peace cannot be sustainable if it doesn't resonate with people, with their communities, and does not promote social cohesion. If peace is only achieved behind closed doors at high-level meetings with supposedly high-level officials, chances are it will fail, as it has so many times in the Congo and other countries of the Great Lake region. In the same line of thought, there needs to be an economic dimension at the grassroots level. So an economic dimension that makes sense for people, that is inclusive, that is fair and sustainable. Lesson number 4. Peace is too important to be left alone to government authorities or international bodies such as the UN. All actors I met were consistent in their criticizing the fact that they could not do business in Congo because of the authorities were always putting some problems in their particular action. All of them, all the people I talked to from civil society organizations, local, international businesses, cooperatives, they're forging relationships with one another, trying to instill a civic sense while building a culture of trust and confidence. All of them, all the people I talked to in Congo expressed the wish of not having the government involved for fear of being harassed through heavy taxation or the paying of bribes. In this light, I would emphasize the positive and leading role that business and NGO can play in the context of the absence of government. Businesses and NGOs actually create, in this context, the rules of the game. To obtain a well-functioning state in Congo, one has probably needs to wait for at least 2 generations. Corruption is everywhere. Funds for repairing roads end up in the pockets of the governors. In short, the government cannot, or even worse, is not willing to play its role of provider, of protector and regulator. The magic of this story, there is some kind of magic to it, is that citizens from the NGO, from cooperatives and the business sector join hands to bring change in that dilemma, which brings an interesting dynamic in the context of Congo, working at peace without government, good governance without government. So where does it lead the government? How about the often heard argument about governments being undermined, governments being crowded out by NGOs and by partnerships? This argument actually holds true in most places of the world, probably. So it is valid, but not in the case of Congo, where the government is not only lacking capacities, but foremost lacking the willingness to be positive actors in people's lives. Most people I talked to stated that the institutions in Congo are rotten. There is a crucial absence of civic sense in all fragments of society. So in that light, partnerships tactics deployed by businesses and civil society organizations at the grassroots level to not only fill a governance void, they first and foremost respond to an immense need of promoting civic action, something that the uncivic and unaccountable government institutions cannot. It is precisely what business and NGOs do in the DRC, in the eastern part of the DRC, contribute to the creation of institutions conducive to peaceful behavior through enhancing the rule of law, fostering a climate of trust and lead by example, and of course by promoting sustainable, fair and inclusive economic development. So special thanks for the Peace Portal for this opportunity to tell the story of these courageous, civic and resourceful individuals, men and women, boys and girls, rebels and non-rebels, working in coffee communities at building a peaceful existence through cross-sector partnerships. So finally, coffee for peace. Is that a dream or is that a reality? It sounds too good to be true. But based on how the coffee is being cultivated, based on historical and cultural significance of coffee for the communities of Eastern Congo, based on the dynamics around those coffee communities, and based on the immediate benefits coffee brings to these communities in terms of increasing revenues, social cohesion, social well-being, and in terms of bringing communities that were hostile to one another together in the pursuing of these economic activities. Based on these facts, I would say that if you really want to contribute to peace in Congo, well, you have to drink coffee. coffee from Congo. It does not only contribute to peace, it's also very tasty, powerful, and has lots of character, like the people of Congo. Thank you. Is that mine? I can keep it?
Thank you very much, Francois. I really enjoyed that. I'm very happy that you were able to tell your story. And today we hope to have given you a good idea of what the Peace Portal is about and what it seeks to achieve as an open online platform for learning, sharing, collaborating, and acting together. We've talked about how it can support partnerships and take the local to the global level. It's essential for us to connect to the great opportunities that are created by the quickly unfolding developments on the internet. We know the importance of the media in peace building and conflict prevention, and its ability to positively contribute to transforming conflicts and peaceful processes. Yet, of course, challenges remain, as technology alone is not sufficient. Even with all of the media and advanced technologies available, you need people, real people, to start the process. Also, it cannot remain online, but it needs to be carried into the offline world to be able to bring about social change. I believe the Peace Portal can make a difference in the way we work for peace by supporting and strengthening the work people are already doing. A main objective of the portal is to offer solutions to give online visibility and provide connectivity by being open, impartial, and online. We hope that you will take a look and use it and discover what the Peace Portal can offer you. On behalf of the whole Peace Portal team, I would like to thank all the people involved in getting us where we are today. I would also like to thank the speakers for being with us on this special day, and to thank the City Council of The Hague, the Ministry of Economic Affairs, and Worth It, the technical team, for making it possible. I also thank the Museum of Communication for having us, and for everyone at GPAC who has supported us, and Ingrid Perotti especially. And last but not least, I thank you all for coming and for joining us in celebrating the launch of the portal, including those watching via the webcast. Everyone here will get a free copy of the book, People Building Peace 2.0. So please take your Peace Portal package, including the book and some more information, which you will find on those tables over there. There's now plenty of opportunity to connect with everyone here, and I invite you to join us for drinks and bites. Thank you very much.